So when it comes to investing, Alan had asked me. I talked about Palantir, why it's a pick of mine for next year. Now, as far as he said, what's your track record on long term picks? Buying something for a year is not a long term pick. That's still a trade. It's a longer term swing trade. That's not an investment. Buying something for a year is not an investment. That's still a trade. When I talk about investments, if you're showing notes, close your chart. No, I have them up on the side. Um, I might need charts for this. Should I make myself a little bit bigger? I can do that. I can at least do that a little bit since we're talking. I might be fuzzy, but now I'm a little bit clear because I'm bigger. I just didn't want this to get super ADD, so I was trying to write it down. For the record, guys, I've never actually taken notes to plan out a video. I don't need to pretend to know what I'm talking about. I click the go button. I know what we're going to talk about, and we do it. So we're talking about investing in general. He said, "What's your track record?" So I'm going to go over all of that actually. Um, there's another video coming out about Warren Buffett, and it sucks to hear about Charlie Munger. His best friend did pass away today at 99, so close to the 100-year mark. So my screen just broke. Well, fortunately, got to get a new one. Okay, what I don't really like in general when it comes to, because I'm gonna talk specifically about three other YouTubers, so including me, four YouTubers. These guys are. It's gonna be Meet Kevin, Jeremy from Financial Education, Stephen, Mark, Ryan, and I am gonna talk about some of the losers. And yes, my positions are winners, and it's all gonna be a point. It is not to talk bad about them or throw any stones or anything like that. Every one of those guys I would have on this channel for any kind of debate or theirs, right? So it's nothing like that. But they do make great examples of this because I don't care for the what's your track record question. I think your mindset is in the wrong place if you're worried about that. I can kind of get it like, hey, are you any good at this or do you just suck? You know, I can kind of get that, but past that, nothing because anything can happen. And you can't really count it until it's locked in. And the reason, so I talk about all my investments just throughout the streams, but I've only made a couple investment videos. So if you want to talk about some loser or positions that are down, because technically, while I'm up on a bunch, I'm down on these two, and that could change instantly. But it's AQB and NNDM. But anyway, I don't care for people bringing up Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett flat out, he just thinks you're stupid. He thinks the average person's stupid. And I don't get why everyone talks about being such a cool investor. They compare themselves to Warren Buffett, then they talk about buying SPY. Warren Buffett literally, first of all, he made all his money after he was 60. So that method is kind of crazy. So we're going to be talking about picking stocks. So Warren Buffett, I don't know if this is a surprise to you guys. He's actually never bought SPY. He doesn't buy SPY, QQQ, VOO, VT. Doesn't buy any of that. He thinks you should because you guys have no idea what you're doing. But if you're going to be on here doing your due diligence, then that's the conversation we're having right now. Um, anyway, if you ever quote Warren Buffett and SPY in the same line, you're just showing me how much you don't know. So let's not do that. So like I said, past results, they're not indicative of future results. Tickers will come and go like they have, but behaviors will remain the same. So whoever you're watching, watch their behaviors because you can watch how I've handled a red trade, green trades, and I'll tell you how these other YouTubers have handled their trades. So when you're watching someone to determine any kind of track record, it's not exactly it's not the tickers that I would be concerned about. It's how they handle those tickers that you should really be watching. For instance, how did someone handle a bubble? How did they handle their losers? How did they handle tickers trending down? Because that is different. The losers, they finally locked it in. Jeremy with Tattooed Chef. Fat L. It's delisted. Gone. No, I'm not going to kick him while he's down, but that is the example we're going to use today. How did he handle that? Now, if you actually lock in a loss, you can get emotional and revenge trade. You can easily over allocate. Not saying he did that, but just handling emotions in general. When I say how did they handle those losers, what did they do to follow suit? Like what happened? When the ticker's trending down, People have asked me, hey, what are you doing with NNDM or AQB? You know how many times people ask me, am I adding on to those? No, I don't. Why would I add on to a loser, especially when it's trending down? Doesn't mean anything. But does that person tell you if you believe in the company? Now, I will make fun of anybody that says that. You got to believe. Yeah. And if it goes down, you just believe harder. Okay. Like, do you believe in the company while you watch your money evaporate? Like, are you here to touch each other, or are you here to make money? Because one of those doesn't work out for the other. On that whole, do you believe in the company? Have you ever just tried believing harder to see if the valuation would go up, see if the ticker would go up? Maybe it turned to a momentum trade the other day or the next day. Did it ever work? Probably not. As you're watching these investors on YouTube, everyone's going to come on here and state their case and everything. I'll talk about it. These other YouTubers I'm talking about, they're going to say it. It's going to be lost like the AFC group. What I would really caution is anybody that says this, because it's one of the dumbest lines I have ever. It's completely asinine. It is. If someone says this, stop watching them. Hit the unsubscribe button and move on. If you're in a ticker and they say it's about time in versus timing, they have no idea what they're talking about. Flat out, they have zero experience. They're just shooting from the hip. They're going to lose you a lot of money. Maybe you get lucky. Chances are you're probably going to lose. You got like a 96% chance you're going to lose money. That is meant for things like VOO or SPY that have stood the test of time, that are in 500 other tickers actively managed. That's what that saying is for. It is not for Tesla. It is not for, look how it was on Tattooed Chef. It's about time in versus timing, and your money disappeared, went to zero. Hindsight, it always clears up the past, but it never clears up the future. So anytime you're watching anybody, me, and first of all, I'm saying this to other YouTubers, I can't say this enough. I'm talking about I'm bundling myself in this because my account is mine. Your account is yours. While I'm up here giving my opinion, that doesn't mean anything for you. Okay. It's all about how you kind of handle things. And if what I'm saying is not reflecting in your own growth, why are you still here? Same thing with any other person you're watching. What are you doing? How long is it going to take for you to click that you're not making money, move on to the next guy? Now, when it comes to investing versus trading, have you guys ever noticed they're exactly the same? It's just a different time frame. Imagine a sample size. How long is it going to take Jeremy, meet Kevin? We know Stephen Mark Ryan from Solve the Money Problem. He's not going to in this conversation yet. How long does it take them to come through with 20 transactions? It could take me a couple weeks. And right now, if you want a sample size of 20, as a trader, you can find out in the next 2 weeks, am I good or not? Or was I good at that time? Because that's really all that does prove was I did that. That's it. You want to talk about the next 20? Let's set up another time. It could take 10 years for Jeremy to do that. It could take you a whole lot to find out they suck. And at that point, you followed me for 2 weeks, you lost 2 weeks of your time. You followed them for a decade, you lost a bunch of money, a bunch of opportunity cost, and you found out they sucked later. It's a real terrible time to find out, especially when everyone tells you time is on your side. Not if you dick off following the wrong person. So having your attention in the right areas can really help prevent a lot of this. I'll let you know if you're fired if the growth account doesn't work out. Appreciate that. Okay. So in the comment it said, outside of Tesla, what are your tickers? And first of all, when it comes to my investment account, I am doing circles above all these guys. I've made way more money percentage-wise. I don't know who's got more what. Percentage-wise, I am tap dancing all over these guys. Stephen Mark Ryan, he's the only guy I know that's bought Tesla. His account, 100% in Tesla. That stock's 20x. He's not up in it. That's ridiculous. At the same time, it's because he's buying as it's trending up. His average is way up, and then Tesla pulls back. We're going to talk about allocation here in a little bit. Gosh, where was I going with that? Oh, as far as track record goes, outside of Tesla, everything I'm in is up. I'm in tech. Tech's doing well. I'm in Microsoft, Nvidia. Those two alone, are just at all-time highs. I'm also Meta is my number one position. So Tesla alone is its own conversation. We're talking about my track record. Go to YouTube when I started in 2017. I didn't just buy Tesla because some hype, but it's kind of a stupid question back and forth of leave out Tesla. All right, so like you walk up to an Olympic medalist, like, hey, leave out your gold medals anytime you were first, and you tell me about your track record. Like one time I tripped and fell. One guy another tripped and went in front of me. We both fell. Cheesesteak says, don't forget Meta. Yeah, Meta is my number one position. For a short period of time when Meta had sold off, Tesla was hyped up. Tesla was my number one position for a little bit, but it was shortly after the IPO. I mean, I've been in Facebook forever. So that's outside of Tesla, Meta. Case closed. Last year, I told you guys I haven't been paying attention enough to Microsoft. I went nuts in Microsoft last year. Notice it's at all-time highs. The past, I don't know how many weeks I've been complaining about NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is also a big one in my account. And it just keeps going up. I've added on to every ticker in my account up until recently, except NVIDIA, because I was waiting for a pullback to really add into it. But anyway, yes. So we all bought Tesla, all of us. Jeremy, me, Kevin, myself, Steven. He's 100% in there. Now, the argument for that is we still had the brains to buy Tesla. For every one person that bought Tesla, there's at least 3 or 4, 5, 10 that didn't. There's even the weird ones that went short Tesla. So you can't really discount Tesla. But I get why someone would ask that question, because even I have, like you made a bunch of money and you're showing off. Look at and it's just like a P&L number, right? But when you actually break it down, your Tesla covered all your losses on a bunch of BS you were in, and then all of a sudden you're profitable because you went on a once in a generation stock and you made it. That's cool, but do you really want that person, leading wherever you're going? Financial advisors like to explain their time and methodology, which is fine, just different goals. Okay, well, tell all those financial advisors they're stupid. Tell them I said that. And then I can show them some facts. So, yeah, back to the, just to address that comment real quick, and any financial advisor that thinks they're going to argue that, there's been over 100,000 tickers in existence. There's 6,000 right now. Every one of them heard something stupid like that, and their money went away to zero, got delisted. Poof. 100% gone. Okay? Your time in is stupid. And I wouldn't talk to that guy. If a financial advisor told me that, it'd be the end of the conversation.